Hey guys, in today's video we are going to talk about what is a prism and what is a pyramid. And we're going to do that through activity 13.2 on page 92 of your workbook. All right, so go ahead and join me there. And you're not going to need any other materials today. I'm going to use some 3D shapes that I have here, but you will not need anything like this. This is just to demonstrate some vocab words. All right, so 3 words you're going to hear us use throughout this lesson, as well as see in, you're going to see them in your workbook as well throughout this unit, is vertices, edges, and faces. So I have some 3D shapes here. So I'm going to start with this shape. This is a pyramid. So the vertices is any of the points here where a bunch of sides or edges meet. That's called a vertice. So this point right here would be a vertice. That's a vertice. This side right here is a vertice. And then the point here is a vertice. All right. If I look at this prism, that's a vertice, that's a vertice, and that's a vertice. And then this side, there's also a vertice here, here, and here. So those points where all the edges or sides meet, those are called vertices. We also have edges. So if I look at these shapes, the edges are the sides here. So that's an edge, 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 and the bottom here is an edge as well. All right, in this shape, again, we have 3 edges on the top here, and then there's these edges that run vertical, and then there's 3 more edges on the bottom. All right, and the last vocab word we're going to talk about is faces. So faces are the 2D shape that make up these 3D shapes. So this triangle here is one of the faces, this rectangle, this rectangle, this rectangle, and this triangle. Those are the faces. On this shape, all of the faces are triangles. There's 4 faces, all which are triangles. All right, so those are just some vocab words we're going to need to learn to know throughout this unit. All right, so now we're going to look at 13.2. So it says here are some polyhedra called prisms. All right, so we can see there's 6 3D shapes there that are prisms, and then it says here are some polyhedra called pyramids. So then they give us 4 pyramids. So A says look at the prisms. What are their characteristics or features? B, look at the pyramids. What are their characteristics or features? So go ahead and pause the video here. I'm going to just take a little while to answer those 2 questions. All right, so if I look at the prisms, there's 2 big things we need to know about the prism. A prism has 2 bases. All right, so if I look at A, the triangles, those are the bases. The bases are identical. So I'm going to just add that. I'm sorry, 2 identical bases. So the triangles here would be the bases. B, this is a cube. This is a little different, but any of these 2 opposite faces could be considered the bases because they're identical. If I look at C, these 2 triangles would be considered the bases because those are the 2 faces that are the same. If I look at D, the top pentagon and the bottom pentagon are the bases. If I look at E, those squares are the bases. If I look at F, the hexagons are the bases. All right. So all the other sides of a prism are rectangles. So it has 2 identical bases, and then all other sides are rectangles. So if I look at A, this is what we call a triangular prism because it has a triangular base on the top, a triangular base on the bottom, and then it has 3 rectangular faces around those triangles. If I look at B, it has a square base on the top, a square base on the bottom, and then it has 4 squares that make up the other faces. Squares are rectangles, so that also works. For C, I have these 2 triangles. Those are my bases. The other 3 sides are all rectangles. D, E, and F, again, we can see all the other sides that aren't the base are rectangles. All right. If I look at B now, look at the pyramids. What are their characteristics or features? So prisms have 2 bases that are identical. A pyramid has 1 specific base. So if I look at this first one, the base is a triangle. Here my base is a square. Here my base is a pentagon. And here my base is a hexagon. So it's going to be that the base that kind of lays on the table usually, that kind of sits on the bottom. So that's a base. And in the case of a pyramid, we can see that all other faces are triangles. And I said sides up here. That is not correct. Let me change that. All other faces are rectangles. So all the other faces are triangles in this case. So this one we have 3 faces that are triangles, and those meet at the apex. So all their faces are triangles, and they meet at an apex. And that apex is just the vertice that's at the top of the pyramid. So this would be the apex. That would be the apex. That's the apex. That's the apex. All right, we can see again all the faces are triangles that meet at that apex. So this has 4 triangles that meet at the apex. This pyramid has 5 triangles that meet at the apex. This triangle has 6. This pyramid has 6 triangles that meet at the apex. So that's the difference between a prism and a pyramid. All right, have a good day.